Hi guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. Moving through our series, When Things Go Wrong, we talked about the hunger and the binging and the things like that that can, plague us all. But also when we're dealing with changes in nutrition status, Adam, we end up with a lot of GI issues. And I was just having a conversation with a client explaining kind of the range of normal discomfort and things that may point to just some foods, sources, things like that we have to, talk about and maybe eliminate, all the way to tissue level structural trauma that you could be putting your GI system through that could be a long-term health issue. So big topic. It's going to be tough to cover this one in 5 minutes. But first of all, just make us aware, Adam, of how important this is and maybe talk a little bit about those ranges of issues.
Yeah. So, if you let this go on long enough, you can end up with a very, very bad, forever long complex. You could have like IBS or Crohn's or anything like that. So having these issues addressed right away are key. I'd say the first thing is looking at food logs. A big mistake I see people making with maybe not tracking fiber can be a huge one. Maybe they're getting too much. People don't realize how hard cellulose can be to digest. So if you're eating like uncooked vegetables, this can cause a really big issue as well. And a lot of people, in the summertime, you'll see people eating veggie trays and stuff like that. And that can be actually when the GI issues start if that becomes an everyday thing. So it really comes down to looking specifically at that food. Sometimes dairy can have lactose, which can be very gas forming and disruptive. Sometimes even carbonated and artificial sweeteners, those kinds of beverages can just be enough to throw somebody's GI system off track, especially once food is lower and your body's natural process is when less is going in, less is going to be going out as well.
Yeah, and if you first look at things like gas and maybe bloating and pain, then there probably is a food causing that. And it can be some of the soy, cheap soy protein in protein bars, can be the bizarre amount of fiber they're now putting in protein bars. Most of these are cheap filler type fiber. Can be some of the fake foods. A lot of people are going for, low carb this or that. And so there tends to be some very harsh exotic fiber to make up for, the extra carbs. So many things are easy to just pick out on a food log. And I can tell somebody that's what's causing it. And it's so important to make sure that that this is not normal. You just should not be experiencing pain or trauma or bloating or things like that. But it can also go all the way to, severe constipation and diarrhea, which then becomes a little bit more problematic in that, as Adam said, you can end up with colitis, ulcerative colitis, other kinds of issues, toxic megacolon. You could end up with, bowel impaction. And I've seen all of these things, and I've seen clients hospitalized. I've seen them end up with lifelong trauma that they then have to deal with just because they thought it was normal, just a normal part of dieting. Mm-hmm. So these things can be very disruptive, but catch them early and don't accept any deviation from norm as just, part of the process.
Absolutely. Some people too, they're just going to have slower digestion than others. I've seen clients who have to have prescriptions for that even long before they start dieting with me. So that ends up being a place where a client is definitely going to struggle as food volume gets lower, and knowing that upfront can be key.
Yep, and again, we want to have some regulation. So if there is diarrhea or constipation, which seem to be opposite issues, they're actually more like two sides of the same coin, and one can kind of lead to the other. And so sometimes it's as simple as just the amount of carbs versus fat that you're having. It can be the amount of insoluble versus soluble fiber. So if you do not have a coach that understands these things, I don't think many do, it's up to you to do a little research, talk to some people. You may have to get a consultation with a physician, but do take these things seriously. And with that, Adam, we're going to probably wrap up the series with a couple more things that are are, you know, just as equally dangerous. So stay with us, guys, and we're gonna discuss those in the next Contest Prep University.